Okay people, so I got a little bit of a rant to get off in today's Black Clover video because after Black Clover chapter 315, a little bit of the fandom and myself have had a disagreement over on Twitter, and it wasn't the most pleasant to say the least, because following the chapter, I kind of was a little bit, again, comedic with it, similar to the way I felt with last week's chapter in terms of like, yo, we got the Mighty Morphin Black Bulls up in here, okay? Like, definitely 100,000% Yuki Tabata has been influenced and showing a lot of that influence in some of the recent chapters of Black Clover, because we straight up are looking like Power Rangers up in here. Like, it straight up feels like that. It looks like, you know, when they get into the Mighty Morphin and they get into the big giant machines that are fighting and all that jazz, like, that's really what it has felt, and Black Clover 315 was no different. And to be honest with you, I said something over on Twitter that ruffled a little bit of feathers, but I think for the most part I was a bit misunderstood. So we're gonna take a look at that, we're gonna examine it, we're gonna still talk about the chapter because a few things did happen, even though like my notes is like a quarter of the normal stuff today, because I ain't gonna lie, it was a little bit annoying and something that I really was like, I guess, disappointed to a certain degree. And this is not exclusive to the Black Clover fandom by any means. It's not exclusive to the Black Clover fandom. I've dealt with it with Boruto fans before, and that's that no matter how much you support, no matter how much you show love, no matter how much, even though everybody else curses whatever it is that is going on, and you still are the one holding down its back, when you have one disagreement, I noticed that fans, they just will straight up like cast you aside and act like you never did anything. It's like you gave 100 or you gave 99 yeses and you gave one no, and boom, you're the bad guy, get out of here. And yeah, it was really bad. Let's talk about it.
No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
Okay people, so like I said, following Black Clover chapter 315, as I do every Sunday, in case you don't know, every Sunday I talk about a very brief thought of each chapter. I give one or two sentences over on Twitter. Definitely go follow me over there if you're not, for Neverworld. You know, I just kind of say whatever comes to my mind at the very end of after reading each chapter. So I said, what even was this chapter, with a kind of silly little face, a little emoji. At least we got this awesome panel of Asta, but damn Tabata, get it together fam. Hashtag Black Clover 315. Now let's examine this, because for starters, even as I'm reading this right now, I still don't see why so many people took it as if I was bashing it, saying that it's, you know, garbage or anything like that. Let's start off the first line. What even was this chapter? What I was referring to was not that I'm confused, not that I don't understand, it's so complex or anything like that. No, like what I mean was, what even was this chapter? Like, it didn't feel like Black Clover. It felt like, again, Super Sentai, Power Rangers, just a whole different vibe than what we've been accustomed to for 300 plus chapters of this series. Like, yeah, we've seen the Black Clover base do a couple of cool and zany things from time to time, but we are fighting the King of Devils in a weakened state of his at that, with like the castle and shooting missiles and stuff. So I was just like, what even is this? This is not my normal Black Clover fam. Then I said, at least we got this awesome panel of Asta, which double spread that we got, hands down, there's no denying that that was epic and awesome. So again, I don't see how that was problematic. And then somebody called me out for being toxic, for saying, but damn Tabata, get it together fam. Like, yeah, get it together. Let's get back on course to what we've been feeling, like the epic highs of like when Manga fought against Dante, like that type of vibe. Like, get it together in that aspect, not in terms of being disrespectful, because I've said a billion times over here, I praise Tabata, I've gave him nothing but support, saying, yo, take a break if you need to, all of that jazz. I'm not a toxic person in general. I could only fathom what it's like to work in their shoes and do what they do. So it's never by any means anything like toxic or disrespectful of me saying these things. It's more so like, yo, let's get back on course, let's get back to that feel that I really love. So when people took it and like it was just a shit show over there on Twitter, I was like, god damn fam, you know what I'm saying? Like, and this has happened to me before with the Boruto fandom, is like, yo, it's okay to say something that is not alongside and aligning with the popular opinion. Apparently, like, this chapter was trending or whatever. That's awesome. And again, I even praise like the double spread at the end with Asta was sick. He looked, I ain't gonna lie, he gave me Yami vibes, but it was just not cool, honestly, that, yo, I'd be having these series backs, and a lot of the times of fandom, when it gets to a certain point and we have a disagreement, they don't be riding with me. So just a little bit of something that I felt regarding the chapter, because there was still some things to discuss, and let's do that right now. Because like I said, for starters, the chapter opened up with the Black Bulls fighting against Lucifero in their big giant Black Bull base, and yeah, that's pretty much from where the last one left off. And it was Mighty Morphin Black Bull Ranger. I'm sorry. It's weird. It's not Black Clover, okay, fam? Especially considering we got all sorts of stuff, and I get it. The whole concept and idea is that this is really teamwork and, friendship at the max possible levels that you could even fathom. They're all working in unison together on some Power Rangers, Super Sentai stuff. That's what friendship is all about. But I don't know. It comes across as silly because at the same time, yeah, they're even using, not only they have the big castle fighting and stuff, you got Vanessa's using her cat, and they're using everything at their arsenal that they can in order to fight off against Lucifero, and they're still taking an L because he's still fighting back very heavily. But nevertheless, it's weird. Not that it's bad necessarily, it's just not something that I'm accustomed to when it comes across as somewhat silly, because when I was younger, when I was like 5, was the biggest Power Ranger fan. I was like, woo! And then when they did that movie with the Blue Ranger and how it was a kid, I wanted to be that kid of the Blue Ranger. Like, when I was 5, I was a Power Ranger head. So for me, it's kind of awkward, I guess you could say, because that was something that I loved as a child. So to see it, and I'm talking about, child, like the age of my daughter's 4 right now. Like, I was like my daughter's age damn near when I was a Power Ranger fan. So it's just a little weird to me. That's really the crux of it all. It's not that I'm saying like it's garbage, because Sentai, from what I understand, sometimes it'd be fire and shit. So not anything like that. It's just maybe more of a me thing. But we also get a little more context that Lucifero has even fused himself with Quillforth. So essentially, you grab Yami, you grab William, you take them out of that, and boom, plans are shut down for what Lucifero's trying to do with the advancing of Quillforth, yada yada yada. But I'm kind of like, well, okay, so essentially, if we was to kill William right now, what would happen? Oh snap, another week of just joking on William, man. He's just there. Like, yo, everybody, including you watching right now, you're like, oh my god, they better not do nothing to Yami. And oh shoot, William. Yes, that's still a thing. We're, I don't know, a month in of this whole big rescue of them finally arriving, and I'm like, yeah, William, still there. And honestly, it would actually be very, very fitting if somebody was to, or if William himself was to say, oh, so if something bad happens to me, Quillforth is pretty much going to be donezo. Hey, William, make up for what you did to the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Yourself, I don't care. However, it is also showing, which is very terrifying if you think about it, in their battle with the big castle versus the fused P-Man of freaking what Lucifero has become, that even at that level they still can't even take him out. So imagine, because that's kind of scary to think about, imagine if he was actually to be complete, what type of force, what type of combat we're gonna have to go through in order to take him down. Like, he is only at what, the second gate is opened up, and he's fused himself like into the real world in that aspect, and that giant shape and stuff like that. This guy is definitely in a whole other level than even that demon that they fought the very first time we saw a devil come out. Like, I'd imagine that Lucifero makes him look like a scrub if we're all combined using all of our magics. You got Luck, Vanessa, every Black Bull, and they're still like, yo, we're at a shortage of magic against second gate Lucifero. And a little more hyping up of basically how terrifying Lucifero is, that even Noct once again chimes in and says, no matter what, we cannot allow the King of Devils to enter this world. So yeah, he's a very big deal, which again, it's kind of self-explanatory if all of Black Bulls together can't really mess with this dude in a weakened state. Also, it was kind of nice to see Fuegoleon and Mereoleona fighting the hordes of demons, which that's something that I guess doesn't feel the most logical in my opinion. And what I mean by that is that I feel like the Mereoleonas, the Fuegoleons, the Nozels, the actual big captains, they should be the ones over here. Like, the Black Bulls should be alongside the Golden Dawn, yada yada, all fighting against, the hordes. It should be just straight up captains fighting to go rescue Yami. So that's something that I'm kind of like, I get it, shonen, I get it. It's also, the Black Bulls, they don't play by the rules. They're going to go rescue their captain no matter what. They probably wouldn't even listen anyway. But I'm just saying, when I'm looking at Fuegoleon and Mereoleona, and they're fighting amongst even having the gravity trying to take them down and this hordes of demons and everything, I'm like, they would be more suited, and they're way stronger, they're supposed to be anyway, than most of the Black Bulls. I get it, the Black Bulls were like, underrated as hell, so to speak, but still, I'm like, Fuegoleon is that dude. Why is he not over here? And then it gets to an even more crazier Gurren Lagann-esque, I don't even know how to describe it, type of point. They start shooting missiles out of the damn Black Bulls base, and I'm like, wow, okay, it's getting a little bit zany up in here, my lord. And from here on is where I was like, okay, I'm starting to see what we're trying to do here, Tabata. So like, after that whole wackiness of the castle versus, P-Man, freaking Lucifero, I'm like, all right, whatever. But then when you see all the people on the ground and they're like begging for mercy and they're saying, please, someone come help us, I'm like, okay, where we're going. And then we had one more of the Magic Fest of Sentai page where it's all the Black Bulls saying, don't worry, it's gonna happen, you're gonna get saved, fam, don't worry. Or I think they said, it's it's gonna be okay. Isn't that right? And from there on, it's like, holy shoot, where we're going, because straight up, Tabata was showcasing that Asta is starting to embody the best traits of the best character of this entire manga, baby. That's where I was like, let's go. That's where the chapter, at the very least, if I wasn't the most fond of majority of the chapter, just because, again, as I already explained, Super Sentai, Power Rangers, yada yada, right there, it ended off on a very nice sweet spot, because you see the handle, you see Asta alone, and it's very reminiscent of when Yami was alone from far away, and he freaking shot off a black magic attack against that freaking devil, the first one that we seen all those years ago, because he's all alone there. And again, Tabata made it like, there's no really background or anything, but the character design himself of Asta, just that double spread of him with his sword, ready to slice down and send over a blast over to finish off the job. Hype, hype, hype. Because again, essentially, Asta is going to be like, the next Yami, so to speak. Now, I don't know if Yami is going to actually be killed off or not in this arc, or William, or whoever, but Asta's really embodying those traits. He looks like it. He has even the physique of kind of being, he's small, but he's still brawlic as hell. And yeah, that was a nice way to end a very wacky chapter. Honestly, yeah, I still stand by what the heck was that. That was just insane, and taking a little bit of a twist in terms of where Black Clover goes with it that I'm not normally used to. And yeah, it just reminded me of when I was little and I wanted to be the blue Power Ranger. But I still don't think that was fair necessarily, of people over on Twitter coming at me because, like, yeah, it was a little wacky. Hey, curious what you guys think about all this though, for starters. Anybody agree with me that, like, it felt a little Power Ranger-ish and Sentai, and it was just a little wacky for you? Also, what do you think about that epic ending of Asta standing there getting ready to slice down and send over a big ass attack? I'd imagine he's going to go back into his Devil Union form in the next chapter before he sends that blast, because that's the way it'll be, the most strongest. Your overall thoughts and expectations of how this thing is going with Big Giant Castle versus Lucifero's P-Man form. Wow. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links are in the description below. I'm Fandom World, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life. Bye. Have an awesome day. Peace in, and yeah, Black Bulls, Mighty Morphin Black Bull Rangers. Wow, have an awesome one.
To find me.